Cześć, witajcie w Zaprojektuj swoje życie. Dzisiejszy odcinek po angielsku, streszczenie również. My guest, Vitalik, is an entrepreneur who came from Ukraine, was passing through Poland, and I called him to record this episode. We were talking about how to build unicorns in Eastern Europe, how war changed everything in a way he's thinking about network people, and also about how a small fund you might have not heard about invested in 60 startups, and it's counting on them developing global businesses. Cześć! Welcome to Design Your Life podcast, or as we call it in Polish, Zaprojektuj swoje życie. We invite people who are entrepreneurs, and if you're listening to us first time in English, there's almost 200 episodes in Polish, but we decided to talk to people from outside of Poland, and especially from east of Poland, to figure out how they building their businesses, how they thinking, what life changes shape them, and how they reacted to them. And today's guest from Lisbon,
from Ukraine,
Minsk, Kiev, I'm not sure, from Ukraine.
Yeah, I prefer to be called a guy from Ukraine. Yeah.
Vitalik Laptenok. Did I pronounce it correctly?
Yeah, that's right.
Yes, I tried it 5 times. I am so happy because you happen to be in Warsaw just flying through, and we met at the Endeavor breakfast and we talked, and I said, why don't you come over? Not knowing what questions will be asked, he said yes, so we'll see. So, the first question I ask everybody, how did you design your life?
First of all, thank you so much for the invitation. It's a pleasure, it's an honor to be here. I think it will be a really interesting conversation. So,
for me, definitely.
Thank you so much, yeah. It's a good question, actually. How do I design my life?
Did you design your life?
I try to do it. As everybody else in this world, I think that nobody can design his or her life like perfectly. Mm-hmm. We're all humans, we all have emotions, we all have our own like bad parts of nature. So I think that's okay not to be like live your life completely by design. But what I suppose should be done, it's 3 things. First of all, and I think the most important thing, is not to fight your nature. I think that too many people try to be someone, but don't listen to like your feelings, your emotions, your your constitution. So I suppose that you should live your life like yourself. It shouldn't be like the most successful life or maybe the most fun life. But if you feel like on your natural place, I think it's it starts of world. It's really often that people try to be like this guy.
The next Elon Musk.
Yeah, like this guy, like that guy. But what we see from our experience as a fund, and what I see from my experience as an investor, is that if somebody just behave like completely natural, if he's kind of let everybody see what is inside of his her mind and feelings and so on, if he's vulnerable to teams, to investors, to people who are like nearby, I think this is the best way to behave.
But you either buy it or you don't, and if you don't, that's
yes,
okay.
Yes.
We'll talk about your fund in a moment. I wanted to get into your startup and entrepreneur phase first, because you went through it.
Yeah, but actually I didn't end with the design your life. So 2 other parts. First is nature. Second is listen to people, to smart people who you can talk to. I think that it's really a great resource to find answers in your life, just to ask. If you see somebody who is living like good life, just come to him or her and ask, how do you do this? How do you do this? How you make decision? How you live with your wife, or how do you raise your children? So this is really like resource that is underused, just to come to smart guys and ask. I think that everybody has someone who can be respected, and just come to this person and ask. And third part is books. I know that not everyone like a book person, but like a lot of great.
You amongst many books, yeah.
Yeah, a lot of great ideas are in the books. So just I don't know. Some people, of course, some people lie in books, but some people like in this book by Shoe Dog, for example, it's like completely honest, great book by a great founder. Just read it, and I think that everybody will find
And you'll
something.
understand Nike so much better.
Yeah. Nike and the company.
An entrepreneur. There's a price of being an entrepreneur.
Yeah, definitely.
And that's what I want to talk to you about. How come you decided to go the way of startup and being an entrepreneur? What prompted you that way?
I think that I didn't actually have a choice. So
okay, tell me about it.
I kind of I never imagined myself working for a corporation, working for a big company. I always wanted to just to create something, working with smart people, doing some. I actually get bored pretty fast if everybody works fine. Everything works fine.
So you like to fix things?
I like to create things.
Create things,
Yeah,
okay.
Yeah, and when it's created, when everything works pretty fine, so I'm not really interested in kind of scaling from 1 to 100.
So you're not a farmer in the business?
No,
okay.
No, not at all. So because of that, I think that like corporate jobs are not for me. It's not. It's against my nature, and I never kind of wanted to work for a big company. I always wanted to create something new, not maybe something too innovative, but still something that not exist at this point of time.
But Genesis Media became a very big company.
Yeah.
So how come it came to be, and how come it grew so much?
First of all, I have. I'm actually, first of all, I'm not like first founder. I joined the company where it was still like maybe 15 people, something like that. So I'm not founder of the business.
But you were CEO for a long time, yeah?
I was like CEO of half of the business
Yeah.
for a long time. Yeah, not whole business. Yeah, and but it was like completely. It wasn't like corporate job. I think it was like we were building like from 10 people to 2,000 people. Now it was like kind of long way to go, and we are still growing.
2,000 people, many markets,
many businesses.
Many businesses, yeah. Better Me, news channels in Nigeria, Ghana, Kenya. I was reading about it, and I was like, wow, and I never heard of this company. So tell me more about it.
Okay. So first of all, we operate as a venture studio model. So Genesis itself doesn't have like product called Genesis. Our product is new businesses we create. So we create ecosystem for talented guys who want to create a business. We give them like quite a big stake in a company and give them like actually like almost infinite possibilities in terms of financing, back office support, hiring, working with our partners, and so on and so forth. Because it's really hard to just create a company from scratch. And we give talented guys infrastructure.
So they come up with an ideas usually?
Yeah, sometimes they come up, mostly they come up with an ideas, but sometimes we can just, we want to build this business.
Who can run it?
Who can run it, yeah. We have like, the most important part of our business is mobile apps. We have around, like, I don't know, maybe 5 to 7 big companies in this field, maybe 40 applications, different one.
And you build them immediately global mobile apps, not just for... Because Poland has this thing which is called middle market trap, that everybody builds a business for Poland. It's too big and too small at the same time.
Yeah, this is a good thing about Ukraine, that nobody is thinking about launching business locally.
Nobody wants to do business for Ukraine only, yeah?
Yeah.
Okay.
In Ukraine also, but not only in Ukraine, because we don't have that big markets in Ukraine that can where big business could be created.
So it forces you to think globally immediately.
Yeah. From like then on. It wasn't the case like 10 years ago, but now everybody thinking globally like from day one. It's actually it's really hard to switch from local market to global market, because some startups, they just say, okay, we will test the idea here locally and then go global. It never works, because it's really hard to switch everything, mindset, people, team, everything. You just when you have successful business like in small local market, you don't want to lose it. So you don't want to switch focus from like Ukraine, Poland, I don't know.
The small market.
Yeah, to United States, because you will lose what you have. But that's something you should do.
From day one? Or relatively early, yeah?
If you already have something, there is a choice. So just to like let this business be, and founder should go and build something.
So why did you decide to join a 15 people team?
Because we had big ambitions.
Tell me about it.
We wanted to build something really big from day one. So I think that it's the most important idea for Genesis, is that we really think big and think global.
Genesis as in creating, yes?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. So, and I saw opportunity. I saw like partners who can help me to achieve my goals. And yeah, but it wasn't an easy path, because like we were close to bankruptcy several times. And we started with this media business in Nigeria, Kazakhstan, Kenya, Ghana. It was going pretty fine, but then in 2014 there was like big crisis, and all the local currencies, they dropped. There was like huge devaluation on the markets, and the
income was dropped as well.
We lost a lot of like revenue in dollars. It still was like growing in, I don't know, nairas, so local Nigerian currency, but in dollars it's like completely like dropped. So we were thinking about what we do next.
And that was the bankruptcy moment, yeah?
Yeah. It was kind of close to bankruptcy moment. But we have like great team, really strong guys, developers, marketers, content creators. So we were thinking about what we should do next, and that's when we decided to launch BetterMe. And
BetterMe is a fasting app, yeah?
It's health and fitness.
Health and fitness, okay.
Yeah. Then after BetterMe success, we launched like utilities app, education app, Headway, and like many more.
And there were immediately global apps, not particular markets, yeah?
Yeah. There were like mostly we focus on United States. But
and why did you choose BetterMe or healthcare as a target?
It's a huge market. I have personal interest in this field.
So this is the project you were running? Supervising.
I started this project. I'm not involved in operations, but I still shareholder of the project, but I'm not really involved in it. And we start like with US market, but also we have like business in Europe, and we actually don't think about this geography too much. We mostly think about like business opportunities.
But US was the first market that you attacked.
US for us is
Why US? Because it's the biggest?
Yeah. But when you can be successful in US, like you can be successful in any market.
Like Sinatra, if you can make it there, you can make it anywhere,
Yeah, definitely.
What did this experience teach you?
The most important, I actually read this in a book, Good to Great, and this is at that period of time. I cannot recall like in exact words, but there is a saying something like you should face like everything in your life like honestly, not hide anything. In business also you can like talk with your teammates honestly about every problem, but you also need to be sure and optimistic that by the end everything will be okay and you will win. So if you have these two parts,
so honesty and optimism.
Yes.
Okay.
These two parts are really, really important in business. So you shouldn't hide something to be optimistic.
Especially from yourself.
Yeah. And from your colleagues and teammates. You shouldn't hide something to be optimistic. That's like really important. You should say, okay, we have a problem, but we will win by the end of the day. So I think that this is a really important lesson for me, and sometimes I get back to this lesson when something bad happens, and it helps a lot.
How big is BetterMe?
In terms of employees, revenue, or
employees, revenue, install base.
I'm not sure we disclose like revenue, but it's like installs more than 100 million.
100 million people installed the
Yeah.
application that you were co-creating with the team.
Yeah.
It's a small app. When was the moment you realized that this is a success?
It's actually a funny story because
what was it, 100,000 installs, million installs, yeah?
We actually, just after we released first version of the app, it was really bad. It was like the worst.
But you know,
but we became number one in US App Store.
With the app you were not happy with.
Yeah.
You know, the founder of LinkedIn said that if you are not ashamed of releasing your version 1, then you've done too much work. Yeah. So you became number 1 in an app store on the first release.
Yeah.
Wow. What made it so much different?
We have a great CEO of the business, so Vika Repa, who is still CEO. So she did some marketing tricks on this, and she made it happen. Yeah.
Okay, so the marketing helped much more than the app that you had to improve later.
Definitely.
Yeah. When did you feel that the product that you created and the team created was good enough that it's actually worth for people to use it?
I think that mostly we focus on product like in recent years. So now we with the team we created an app called Headway. So which is really good. We have like English learning apps, really also like high quality product.
So how many apps are in Genesys right now? Portfolio?
Around 40.
40?
Yeah.
But not at 100 million installs each? Yeah?
No.
Okay.
But maybe a couple close to that.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. You've decided to move on. And you're running right now Flyer One Ventures.
Yeah.
Why this decision?
I think that like it's again about me personally, because I think that like my superpower is to help other people to succeed. So I think that.
So it's not you succeed, but actually create an environment.
Yeah. So and I suppose that to be an investor is actually like to find people who you can help and to help them somehow. So it's
just about helping, or it's also about making money? Or you're in a point that you don't have to worry about making money?
No. But I think it's like in the current financial situation, I think investing is not about making money, but mostly about saving money.
Okay.
Because of inflation, like you have like 10% inflation per year. So like if you have 1 million, you lose like 100,000 every year. It's not a good situation.
But if you have the money in companies, you have a chance of actually avoiding inflation.
Yeah.
Because
yes.
If the companies can withstand.
Definitely. And I suppose that like investing in seed stages in our eastern region is really good way to invest money and to save money from inflation, because I I think that it's a really underfunded place, underfunded countries.
And if it's underfunded, it's also undervalued, so you can buy it cheaper.
Yeah. That's right. That's right. There's a lot of great.
If a venture from can make 100 million app, 100 million install app, then yes, it's underfunded.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah.
So how do you choose the targets for your investments?
There's like short story, long story.
So let's try the long story.
I will start with short story and then move to a long story. So we actually invest. It's pretty easy. We invest in exceptional founder. How we define exceptional founder is, first of all, we need to see that founder created something before startup. It could be, if it's a young man and a woman, it could be like sport achievement, like maybe science achievement.
So they not necessarily are second time founders, but they have to be achievers.
Yeah. Best case scenario, of course, it's second time founder who has already earned some money, but not enough money.
What if they failed?
It depends. It depends. Sometimes it's okay to fail, of course. Sometimes you can fail just because you, I don't know,
pick the wrong idea.
Maybe pick the wrong idea. Maybe didn't work as hard as we always ask other people to give reference to a founder. People who work with this founder previously, maybe previous investors, previous co-workers, team members, and so on. So, and when we hear that, okay, this guy, he did everything possible, he's great, he's brilliant, he's trying to his best, but he failed. This is one case. And when we hear something that, this guy, he wasn't able to build a team, he was kind of, I don't know, doing some dishonest practices and so on. So
then you don't want to be with them.
Yeah. So it depends. Failure, it depends.
So that's a very important thing that you say, and very few fund managers or investors talk about it, is actually doing the legwork and checking the references on a founder, It's super important,
Yeah, definitely. I think that investing is really similar to hiring for a job. So to hire guy, you need to check references. You need to check, I don't know, how this guy worked with previous employers. So
it's the same with investing.
Yeah,
if you're choosing founders.
It's kind of interview, this pitch session is really similar to interview actually.
It is.
Yeah, so it's especially on seed stage. I have understanding that the earlier you invest, the more attention should be paid to founder.
And less to business model, because it will change many times.
And the later you invest, if you invest in I don't know, pre-IPO, you don't invest founder, you invest in
you invest in Excel.
In spreadsheets. So when we invest in quite early, so we need to understand the person we will be working with. And also, if you invest early, you will spend a lot of time with founder.
At least 7 to 10 years.
So it's like marriage. So you need to be sure that we also we pay a lot of attention to kind of moral qualities of founder. It's really important for us.
And this is something you're taking from Genesis, where you were picking the people?
Yeah, definitely.
So how did you pick then versus how you're picking now? Did something changed?
It always changes. So it always changes. But I think that now I do less compromises in this field. So sometimes when we're like smaller company, it could be something like, okay, this person is working hard, is effective, and so on and so forth, but he's not a good person. But we can close our eyes and say, okay,
because we need him.
Yeah. But now, when I don't know, we have some level of success, we can say no to bad guys, to assholes, and just work with guys we want to work with. So this is exactly, I suppose that this is really important.
So what you're saying is that success, financial and operational, gives you freedom of choice. Am I right?
Definitely. I think that's the most important thing about money.
Okay.
It's not to be forced to do something that you don't want to do.
So you're running Flyer One Ventures. You've done how many investments?
60.
60
Yes.
already in how
3
long
years.
of a time?
3 years.
3 years.
Yeah.
That's 20 investments a year
year,
on
yeah.
average.
Yeah.
That's a lot.
Yeah.
These are pre-seed and seed tickets, so they are not
Average ticket $500,000.
$500,000, euro, whatever. Yeah. Do you allow for making mistakes, having such a big number of?
Of course.
Okay.
I think it's a really arrogant way to make investments, to say, okay, we will check everything and we will be always right. It could be it could happen, like if you have private equity and you invest really late.
Really late.
Yeah. But on early stage, it's really stupid to assume that you can be always right. You will make mistakes. That's for sure.
And it's okay.
Definitely, yeah.
Losing
of
$500,000.
Of course, like on this, every separate case, it's not okay. But on the whole,
it's a portfolio, yeah.
Yeah, it's a portfolio. So like we will make money on top 5 companies. We understand this, and we just need to pick them, help them, and I don't know, increase stake in this company and understand as early as possible which company like will be stars in our portfolio.
And one of them or two will probably pay for the whole fund, yeah?
I hope so.
Okay.
Yeah.
So you see those stars already, or it's too early?
It's you never know, like for sure, but yeah, of course we see some guys that are really good.
I'm saying with investment in early stage, especially, it's like with dog races, you know they can break the leg or fall down 2 meters before the finish line, and until the sale is made, you're never sure, who delivers. What is the most interesting investments you picked, or most interesting, most surprising that you decided to go with? Can you think of one?
Oh, surprising. Oh, it's a good question.
In 60, there's,
Actually, I was asked this question like a week ago, but I didn't find an answer. No.
And in a week, you found an answer or not?
No.
Okay.
It's hard to say because.
So you're investing in founders who are achievers and have some kind of track record.
Yeah.
What else?
Also, really important, good market. It's the most important mistake a founder could make, because like great founder could build brilliant business
in a small market,
but only a small market, and it will not pay off.
We had a conference in the spring, and one of the guests of the my podcast was actually saying he has a SaaS business for kindergartens in Poland, and his business is great. And he met with a guy who's running a similar SaaS business for kindergartens in US. And they're not as good technically, but the valuation is 20 times bigger. 20 times bigger.
Yeah. And 20 times is not the worst case.
Yeah.
Because like if you compare Ukrainian market and US market, it could be sometimes like 1,000 difference.
In valuation?
In valuation and market size. So sometimes difference is really, really huge. But effort needed to be market leader in Ukraine and effort to be like top 10 player in United States, it's comparable actually.
So it's actually my thinking that I could be a podcaster in Poland, big fish in a small pond, it's a mistake?
Oh, I don't know. You decide.
You don't know podcasts. Okay.
You decide.
Okay.
You decide.
But on a serious note, so founder, market.
Yeah.
What else?
This is like 2 biggest parts, and everything else is about like founder mostly. So we are trying to find like optimistic founders again, because I have some experience working with pessimistic founders. Is pain. So if a founder,
I'll sign to that. Yes, I do see the investments every year, and yes.
Yeah, it's really hard. It's hard for me, and I just can imagine how hard it is to work with this guy like on daily basis, where he says, "Oh, this is bad. This
You're
is
like
bad.
pulling
this is
pulling
bad."
the cart full of stones. Yeah.
So again, optimistic, hardworking. So we don't want guys who can, okay, I will launch this business, this business, this business.
Focused.
So you need to be focused, hardworking, one goal, and everything. You need to be again like honest. If a founder tells us something we know is not true, it's like huge red flag for us. So it's like almost a deal breaker for because
Have you had conversations like this?
Yeah, definitely.
Okay.
All the time.
Pitches all made up, yeah?
No, actually, no. I think that actually we have some pitches like from US guys and from like Ukrainian, Polish guys. And US guys, they say, okay, we are building something incredible. You will never believe.
And there's nothing there.
Yeah. And like our guys, they say, okay, this is shit. We cannot do this. This shit.
So you have to have different filters depending where the founders are coming from.
Yeah,
Okay.
that's true. But actually, I think that just our guys, you need to like learn how to sell themselves, sell the product, because it's also about optimism, about like, I don't know.
And believing in the
believing
the
future.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's true. So we also kind of we don't have a kind of industry agnostic guys, but we tend to invest in education technology. We really like this big industries that should be like transformed somehow. Yeah, so this is our like sweet spot in terms of
so digitization of the old world.
Yeah. Fintech maybe, but it's already kind of transforming. But we have like great investment in fintech farm guys transforming fintech in developing world like Nigeria, Vietnam, and other countries. So yeah, that's basically it.
So you are geographically agnostic, or you picking mostly from Eastern and Central Europe?
The thing is that when you invest you mostly invest into your network.
Yes.
So most of the guy was referred to us by some guys we trust, and of course
somebody who you worked with or who you invested with.
Yeah. And of course.
Or maybe this podcast will help you expand the network.
I hope so. And of course, we have network in this region, and because of that, we mostly invest in companies from this region. But of course, we also want to have network in the United States, in Europe. So we do invest in like new countries.
Have you invested in any startups from Poland already?
Not yet.
Not yet.
So
there's a chance.
But we are looking into.
There's a chance.
Yeah.
You've decided to move to Lisbon.
Yeah. Obvious answer is because of war. I've been living in Ukraine for around 10 years. It was a great experience. I really loved it. But unfortunately, me and my family had to move because of war. And
why did you pick Portugal?
It's actually not really. I cannot give you a serious answer.
Okay, because it's the furthest away.
Yeah, first of all, it's really far away, but also because we kind of moved from Ukraine and say, okay, we already moved. Maybe we should go somewhere interesting, something different. So, and I really love Portugal, not because kind of business environment, but actually startup ecosystem pretty good in Portugal, but because of weather, because of nature, because of ocean. So it's really great when my kid can go surfing on weekend. So it's something you cannot buy with money in this region. So it's really cool in terms of nature and just feeling vibe.
And Lisbon is quite cosmopolitan, yeah. It's in the last 10 years it changed so much.
True. Yeah. Everybody speaks English. Like they're really tolerant to new people who come to the city, and we feel really good. And also, actually, they have a lot of unicorns. They have good ecosystems. They have good accelerators, startups, and a lot of people moving to Lisbon, not only from Ukraine, but also from United States. because like people getting tired of this politics and so on, and they also want to, of course, benefit from tax system, from like low crypto taxes. So crypto community is really big in Lisbon. So yeah, actually, it's not kind of like jungle and heaven. It's pretty good like business
What
environment.
surprised you most?
What surprised me most?
Because the weather is obvious, the food is obvious, the people are understandable. Was there something that surprised you?
Actually, I was surprised by startup ecosystem because and
because nobody thinks of Portugal.
Yeah. And I have friends who hire people in Portugal, and they say that it's not like I don't know in Spain. They don't have siesta. They work as hard as Eastern European guys. They stay in office late. They have good education, so it's really surprised me. So because we always think of ourselves like as Eastern Europeans that we work a lot, that we're kind of not like Eastern European, or not like Western Europeans, but there are countries that like pretty similar in this work mentality to us.
How big your fund? What's the target of your fund? Because you invested in 60 companies. That's close to $30 million. Is there a cap that you want to put on the size, or this is something that's going to be ongoing? It's a greenfield.
It's kind of it's going to be. We want to raise like 10 million fund every year because most of LPs are partners at Genesis. Not all of them, but most of them are.
So you're raising from the network of Genesis,
yeah.
So this is a fund that constantly being funded,
we kind of raise small funds every year.
Okay.
And if we have bad year, we will not raise a fund. So
that's normal.
Yeah.
So we have this segment in our podcast that we ask 10 tough questions. We actually call them tough questions. Let's see if you can handle. You already answered one.
Which one?
I'll tell you when we get to it.
Okay.
No, this was about your superpower. We ask about superpower. And it's interesting that sometimes people have a tough time defining. For you was, I know my superpower, which is great. Can you describe the best decision you made in your life?
I think that having a child was the best decision in my life.
Okay, what did this change in your life?
I actually learned a lot of how, how a person created. It's really interesting because it's like you can see a character like from day 2 of your life. It's really interesting. It's like it opens your eyes that there are some things in your nature that cannot be changed. So it's like you like this for like from then day 2. What you should what can
and
you do,
as a father, you sometimes see yourself in the mirror, which is a scary.
Yeah. And it's like it's actually learned a lot about management. So you need to really manage yourself, manage son, manage. So it's kind of you need to not directly turn this person in the right direction.
Influence.
Influence. Yeah, but you cannot say do this, do that. Otherwise, I will hit you. That's like that. You need to be. You need to use kind of soft measures. So it's really it's
and it's harder to use them at home than in business.
Yeah. So, but you need to learn to do this. So actually, I think that
having a child.
So
the next question.
Yeah.
What gives you most energy or satisfaction in life?
I think that understanding that you did the right thing. So in a hard situation, you did the right thing, not the easiest thing, but the right thing.
How does your typical day look like right now as an investor, somebody who runs a fund?
It's like 90% meetings and calls.
So plenty of networking, or
a lot of calls with portfolio, with employees, with in like network and so on. So it's really.
What time do you start working?
10 maybe, something like that.
Okay.
Not too early.
Okay, what time do you finish working?
It depends. Maybe like 9, something like that.
Okay.
8 or 9, something like that.
And when do you find time for the family? Is it in between or?
Mostly on weekends. Actually.
Mostly on weekends, okay. That's a tough one. Is there something you could stop doing that would actually improve your life or give you a development?
I think that stop reflecting too much on past mistakes. Something like that. I think that
But
moving on faster.
retrospection or reflection is actually good, but
Yeah, definitely.
But if you do too much, that's what you're saying, yes?
Yeah. But not on emotional level. On rational level is good, but on emotional level, it's really something you could like work with. I don't know, with professionals and with a coach or something like that. And I sometimes spend too much time on this and energy.
How do you build your inner circles? The people who are closest around you influence you most, like the team from Genesis. And you talk to them.
Yeah.
And those talks create thoughts, those thoughts create actions, and actions create your environment. How do you choose or build those inner circles?
Mostly that's people I work with, so these people that I respect a lot, and I have like an honor to work with them. It could be both like more senior partners or my employees. Sometimes I just spend a lot of time with like great people I work with, like just not CEOs of business, but just like brilliant people, and I really appreciate that. But also I think that it's really important to have friends outside of your work environment. And I have a bar in Kyiv, actually.
Okay, you own a bar?
Yeah.
Okay.
And this activity brought me a lot of friends, like outside of my circle, aside from my bubble, actually. So it's really
the circles sometimes become bubbles.
Yeah. So it's really important
so
to everyone.
Why did you decide to have a bar?
Because it's fun.
Okay, it's fun to go to the bar. Is owning a bar?
It's also fun. It's also fun.
I was a bartender in Manhattan for several years.
Yeah, really?
Oh yeah.
Cool.
Oh yeah. I actually paid for my college bartending.
Cool.
But I never found it fun. Maybe because I was working and I wasn't drinking, and everybody else was having fun. But why owning a bar is fun?
Because you kind of create community around this bar, and you can just come in every time, and there will be your friends, people you know, and it's really cool. So,
what kind of bar is that?
It's kind of just it's called Berlin 89, actually.
Okay.
And there is a reason for this name, because I think that our world is kind of becoming more and more far and far from this situation where Berlin Wall was destroyed. So back in that days, everybody believes that we will destroy all the walls.
Fukuyama said end of history and so on.
End of history, we really believe.
Turns out it's not quite true.
Yeah. So we try to kind of create a bar with this name that kind of valued freedom of like expression, like conversation. We have really friendly atmosphere. So our like waiters and bartenders, they talk with. They actually like became actual friends with.
Okay. with the patrons, yeah.
Yeah. So it's really interesting. So. But actually, the bar was opened in December last year. Okay. And unfortunately, we had only like 3 months of good operations.
Is it still working?
Yeah, we reopened it a couple of months ago, and but it's kind of maybe 30% of people that come to the bar if you compare to before the war. But it's growing.
People are coming back.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, people are coming back, definitely.
3 things that you would like to do in 3 years are?
I want to help build at least one unicorn in our portfolio.
Wow. Okay. With 60, there is a chance.
Yeah, definitely. We see a couple of good candidates for that. I used to do Ironmans. I want to get back to doing Ironmans.
Okay.
Maybe third child. Oh, second child, sorry.
There was a very big slip. Okay, we're not cutting this out. What did the war teach you?
I actually thought a lot about this, and my answer is that actually the most important part and the most important asset in everybody's life is his or her network. Actually, and this was really because everything else could be lost. Actually, because of war, because of inflation,
the houses can be destroyed,
and so on. But what could not be destroyed, if you don't destroy it like yourself, is your network, people you trust, and people who trust you. Since this is something that should be like really maintained a lot in everybody's life.
How do you maintain your network?
It's actually sometimes for me as a person it's not an easy thing because I'm kind of introvert. I don't really enjoy talking too much with people. I like.
Thank you for coming here and talking to us.
I enjoy spending time like with friends and so on. But for me, it's not like my natural situation, and so I need to make an effort for this, and I do this effort. I try to kind of ping everyone to like, okay, hello, how are you, and so on. But yeah, most of the time I actually do care about not just asking how are you, but
finding out how they are.
Yeah.
But it's a very American when you ask how are you, and you're totally not interested on the answer.
But again, after the war starts, when you ask how are you, it's actually I mean to know how are you, not just conversation starter.
A book.
A book for what?
A book. In Polish, we have a book that, and you finish the sentence and talk about one book. So, one book that.
Okay, maybe it's kind of banal question, but answer. But a book that really changed my perspective when I was maybe 12, something like that.
Okay, that gets interesting.
Yeah, it's a book called Seagull, Jonathan Livingston. So I read it like a couple of times, and it's actually changed my perspective to life, because I was like many of us, I was like living in not that rich family on outskirts of Minsk, on really bad school, and so on and so forth. But I think that books and good music and good films and something that could give hope
and escape.
And hope and escape. Yeah. So I think this book, this small book, but
why did it change your perspective?
Why? I think because everyone has like something inside that wants to be happier, to like get out of bad situation, and so I think that this book maybe woke up something in me that helping to have energy to like, I don't know, to try to achieve something that is not here.
Vitalik, what would you like for the listeners and of the podcast and people watching YouTube channel to remember from this conversation?
I think that think about network and about people around you. I think this is the most important thing that should be remembered from our conversation, because for me now it's like a really big revelation after the war started that it's
the
really
network.
Network. Yeah.
Okay, that's powerful. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you for listening. And every Thursday at 4 o'clock, usually in Polish, we have a new episode for you.